Hi, I'm Allison Avalon, and welcome to Vedas Adventures Bedtime Stories for the Awakening. I'm going to be reading a story today called Veda and the Pegasus Flight, here on Echo Flow Yoga. Thank you so much, Echo, for having me here on your program to share these stories for the benefit of all children, of all ages, and for the inner child in all of us. Are you ready for a story? Get cozy and come with me on a ride, this time on the wings of a Pegasus. Veda and the Pegasus Flight. Veda gazed out the window and stared at the birds, with a pen in her hand and a blank page without words. She sat at the desk, feeling stuck in her task. She needed a story. Was that too much to ask? But her mind remained empty as she listened within, for the whispers to come of sweet inspiration. Sometimes her story flowed out with great ease. She always said thank you, and now she said please. Tomorrow my homework is due back at school. I need a story to tell, pen and paper my tool. She called on the muse to help her to hear. She breathed deep in and out to help her mind become clear. She looked into the distance at the cliffs with sheer stone and could see the waterfall flowed with a deafening tone. Maybe I'll just go take a hike instead to get into my body and out of my head. For this isn't working. I have writer's block. I can hear the time slipping with a tick and a talk. I feel pressured and anxious and my mind can't be still. Maybe being out in nature will help me to chill. She gathered a snack and some clothes in a tote. Went for a hike, Mom, I love you, she said in her note. She hiked up into the forest and found the trailhead that crisscrossed the creek one must carefully tread. She recalled that someone told her of a magical spring high up in this mountain where the muses would sing. If you drank the water from the sacred source, inspiration would fill you with an overflowing force. Legend told that the spring had magically sprung when a white-winged horse soared down from the sun. Wherever the Pegasus stepped, water burst from the ground, and a magical spring was then there to be found. Artists and seekers from all over had come. They searched in vain for the spring while beating their drum, but none had yet found the mythical spot where inspiration flowed freely and magic was caught. Veda laughed and thought, well, who knows what I'll find, but maybe the magic of the forest will be helpful and kind. I would love a sip from the spring of the muses for sure. For writer's block, it would be the perfect cure. She hopped from rock to rock and from shore to shore. I must pay attention and move from my core. When jumping on rocks, I must let go of all fear. See myself land on the stone even before it comes near. Hesitation and doubt will break the rhythm I need. I must have a clear mind to accomplish the deed. It's a test of courage and trust. How here can I be to jump amongst boulders and feel grounded and free? Her father had taught her how to silence her mind, to feel safe jumping on rocks in the river sublime. For the rock could shift underfoot or slip any time, with only an instant to respond and decide. Which way must I move my weight to balance the force? It was a game of applied physics, her favorite, of course. Jumping on rocks helped her tap into the flow, which helped her mind settle so intuition could grow. It's true, I could hurt myself bad if I fall, but I must silence the fear that is trying to call. For the fear keeps me from being right here and right now, and that's all we really have anyhow. Veda then took a detour from her usual route. Something guided her onward, without even a doubt. She climbed higher and higher up the ephemeral stream. She suddenly felt like she had slipped into a dream. She came to a clearing with a meadow so green, and saw water bubbling up from the ground so clear and so clean. Dozens of fountains sprung up along a straight path. What are the chances? That's impossible math. She bent and drank deep from one spring in the lawn. And when she looked up, a light shined brighter than dawn. She stared up at a brilliant white-winged horse. She had found the muse's secret water source. Hello, Veda. Welcome, dear one. I've been expecting you. I knew you would come. You hear the muses singing to you in the wind. You believe in real magic and are a true friend. You have learned to be silent and quiet your thoughts. You have made friends with your fear, whatever it costs. I am Pegasus, and I came down from the sky. Let's go on an adventure. Are you ready to fly? I'll take you to meet the muses and myths of old. We'll fly to the end of the galaxy and to places untold. Let's drink from the Big Dipper and the Milky Way. Come on, Veda, what do you say? Without missing a beat, Veda yelled, "Aye!" She jumped onto the Pegasus' back and they flew up into the sky. His wings spread out wide and his feathers shimmered so bright. Veda giggled. She grinned and squealed with delight. She looked down on the meadow and the forest below. She felt a thrill in her heart that continued to grow. Up in the clouds they climbed higher and higher. "Watch this!" yelled Pegasus, and then tossed out a bolt of white fire. Lightning it flashed, thunder it roared, and Veda on the back of Pegasus soared. Into the stars they flew into the night. Constellations greeted them with a sparkling light. Into the darkness they continued to fly. Not a light could be seen except in Pegasus's eye. As she gazed into his pupil and held on to his mane, she slipped into the center of what did remain. They arrived in a temple made out of pure light. No form existed, but it was still in plain sight. She slipped from his back and was floating in clouds. Figures drifted by in sheer-colored shrouds. "It's Veda! She's made it to the other side. I knew she could do it," sang the muse with great pride. "You know yourself, Veda, and have made peace with your fear, so I sent Pegasus down to bring you up here. You are the daughter of truth sent down to earth. You are a child of magic, and we all blessed your birth. Remember, my dear, who you really are. Your light that shines so bright came from the very first star." Veda looked at the light that suddenly shined. When she gazed at its brilliance, it all came aligned. She saw everything, always, forever, right now. She knew the beginning and end, but didn't know how. It all made sense as she gazed into the light. Each moment a gift to choose love, yes, that's right. With gratitude filling and overflowing her heart, she knew that her tears would bring a fresh start. Love would fall down onto the parched earth and flow out of the springs of infinite worth. All beings who felt the rain on their face would be filled with love and eternal grace. And all who drank deep from the water's pure source would be filled with the light of the star's powerful force. Peace was coming to rest in the hearts of all women and men. A time of great love was about to begin. Return now, my dear, share your love with all who you meet. We will lay a path of starlight under your feet. Have no fear when you witness all that will unfold. The time of legends is coming, and now you've been told. Choose love no matter what you might think. Humans are rising, you're right on the brink. Stay true to your heart and listen inside. Inspiration will guide you with the muses by your side. She climbed up the side of Pegasus' wing and nestled into his back as the muses did sing. "Thank you, Pegasus. You were right on time. We'll paint you into the stars, in heaven you'll shine." Pegasus rose up on hind legs and tossed out his mane. Veda sighed and wished fondly that she could remain. He dove down like a bolt, like a shooting star. Veda felt like she was falling from so very far. Veda felt dizzy as she sat down on the grass. She took a deep breath to let the wave pass. She gazed at the bubbling spring by her side and felt a strange tingle spreading all over inside. A single white feather floated down from above, a gift from dear Pegasus, a message of love. It was time to return back home, Veda knew. A story was brewing. It grew and it grew. She heard the muses whisper soft in her ear. The tale she would tell began to sound clear. She smiled at the magic she happened to find when she learned to listen and quiet her mind. She got home as the sun was settling low in the west. She trusted the story was coming and she'd do her best. Veda sat and watched as the light began to fade and saw the constellation Pegasus, now shining so bright. She went inside, grabbed her pen, and sat herself down. Inspiration flowed with the flurry of letters, verbs, and a noun. She could barely keep up with the muse in her ear. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. The end is only the beginning. Find magic within. I'm Allison Avalon, and this was a reading of Veda and the Pegasus Flight. The last line is an inspiration to Ram Dass that says, "The quieter you become, the more you can hear." I hope you've enjoyed your time with me and Vedas Adventures, Bedtime Stories for the Awakening. Thank you, Echo, for having me here on your program, for sharing these programs, just sharing these stories for the benefit of all children, the children of all ages, and the inner child within us all. If you'd like to hear more of these stories and help me share these stories around the world, please visit my website at allisonavalon.org or at vedasadventures.com. Thank you. Find magic within.